this piece of hair sticking out. I wanted to come on here and I haven't wanted to have a talk about the promise, the process, the price, and the personal responsibility. Okay. Through the power of social media, we are interconnected all over the world. We have a huge hairstylist network, if you will, and we have the ability not only to touch each other's lives every day, but the lives of our clients. So, what happens through the process of social media? I have learned and seen, and over the last year, read and encountered things that honestly I never thought I would encounter in my career. So, never, and not even not encounter, never even gave it a possibility as a thought. So, it's a new day, it's a new age, and so we have new responsibilities and we have things that we have to do to make it better for us behind the chair. And that's what I wanted to do, was give some encouragement and some thoughts based on things that I have seen, encountered, heard personally from stylists, and read in private hairstylist forums. So, when I talk about the promise, I am talking about the promise that we make to a client when we're working on their hair. We have it during the consultation. With the promise, we tell them what we can do and we tell them what we can't do. One of the things I need and I feel very, very strongly about is suggesting to not say the word can't. Why do I not want to say the word can't? Because there are obviously things that I cannot do. There are things I cannot do 99% of the time because I am limited by two things: what they bring to the table and the chemicals and the properties of what they will and will not do. Those things are non negotiable. I can't control what they sit down in my chair with any day of the week. Unless they are a standing client, I know the history. I don't have any control over what they bring to the table. I also do not have any control over the exact properties of chemicals. Chemicals will do certain things, will not do certain things. That being said, during this consultation, I'm going to avoid words like I can't. I'm going to say, your hair does this, the product cannot do that. When you say I can't, what's happening is the client is beginning to shut down at that moment because they think you do not know how to do something. When you shift that responsibility to where it belongs, which is on the product and the existing state of her hair, then it brings much more clarity. And for a simple analogy to help your client understand, here's what you brought to me in your hair. Much like if you bring me apples and ask me to make a cherry pie, I can't do it. I must spend more time and more money retrieving cherries to achieve what you desire. The same thing happens behind the chair with the promise. So we have to promise them what we can do and not focus so much on what we, quote unquote, or the chemicals cannot do. We have to be very honest with them. I'm not suggesting BSing them in any way. We have to tell them. However, we have to tell them in such a manner that they retain it and we don't get to the end of the service and have what I'm seeing. I'm seeing struggles with, well, I told her. So after much thought and consideration over the last several weeks, one of the things that I think will be helpful, and I'm going to start doing it, when I have a new client in my chair, especially a new color client, she desires something that I cannot achieve that day. Then I'm going to tell her what the chemicals cannot do, what they can do, and what I can achieve in that single day. And then I'm going to find a visual. In my world, I'm going to call on Google. And I'm going to keep on till I find a visual that shows her exactly what I am capable of obtaining in her hair today. Then I'm going to send that picture to her. And I'm going to request that she respond to that photo by sending it back to me with a comment that says, I understand that this is what my hair has the capacity to do today. So I have proof in the future, should there be any kind of problem or challenge with the outcome of the service and her expectations, then I have clarity and I have here. I showed you, you signed off on it. It's not for legal purposes, it's to clearly bring clarity to that conversation, that consultation through the promise and the expectations, because we want to always under promise and over deliver. Okay? So there is a personal responsibility on her part to understand. I am not responsible for making her listen. I am, however, responsible for making sure that I've done all that I can to make sure that she understands where we can go with this today. Okay? So that's where I think we need to go with the promise. Then there's also the process. Every single service requires a different process. There is no blanket. When you get to that point of the process, you need to slow down, think about exactly what you're doing and all the steps. Now, if you've already clarified what you're going to achieve, you need to take just a minute or two to explain to them. You don't have to get technical. They don't need to know about levels and tones, and their end desired result is a beautiful look. That's your responsibility. That's their end desired result. Don't overdo it with the process. However, if part of your process, say she's going from a platinum blonde to a level 6, and you have to fill it, one step in that process is called filling. So when I fill that, when I get done with that step, her hair is going to look very warm, possibly orange, gold, yellow, whatever your filler formula is. So there's a step in that process that you're aware of, but she is not. And it can scare the bejesus out of her when that towel comes off and she doesn't realize that that was one of the steps. Give them a brief overview of what they're looking at. We're going to do this, 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 and this. Make the process and bring clarity to it. This clarifies the time. This clarifies the process involved. And it also helps you. It helps you to clarify in your mind with the phone ringing, salespeople coming in, clients coming in to buy retail. When things are going on in the salon, we're easily distracted. We try not to be, but it can be easily distracted on a busy day. So you need to bring clarity to that. So there's the process, there's a couple minutes of explanation, and not getting too technical. Remember, they don't live in our world. We want to make sure we clarify that. Then there's the price. Oh my gosh, this is one that gets blown up, blown in, blown out, just all over the map with the price. Here's my personal feeling on the price. The price of any service, especially hair color, any chemical service that you're doing behind the chair, you have already set your own personal perceived self-worth when you set that price. Now, I understand some of you work in corporate salons. Things are different. And what happens when you work in a corporate salon? They have set prices. Great. You have somebody to blame the price on, so on and so on and so forth. But here's the reality of that. The price of any service, in my opinion, is as unique as the individual's DNA. I will never charge Betty and Sally the same price for two different services on two different types of hair and yada, 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 yada. The price is non-negotiable. You decide what it's going to be, and you decide You decide how much your time is worth, how much your product is, everything about it. You're making a decision. You make a decision to set yourself up for success. That's exactly what you want to do, is start with the promise, the process, and now you're to the price. Set yourself up for success. You are far better at the end of the service if something doesn't happen that you think might happen to back off a few dollars than you are to get to the end of the service and say, well, I didn't know this was going to happen, and so on and so on and so forth. Set a price. Take 2, 3, 5 minutes to just stand there and think about it. Calculate it in your head. Give them the most that this service is going to cost. Because here's the reality of it. We have big discussions about prices in this area. Nobody will pay that price. I don't worry about what they will or won't pay. Here's what I charge. Here's the process. Here's what I've promised you. You're either on board or you're not. I don't see a need to be mean to them either. The girl that owns the salon that I booth rent in, I seen this 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was the greatest moment. I loved it. She had somebody to call. They heard we were good with color in our salon. She wanted to make an appointment to get her hair colored. I actually heard, because I was walking past at the right time, a brief snippet of the phone conversation where she said, well, I really can't tell you exactly the price without seeing your hair and having a consultation about it. So apparently they made arrangements for her to run by the salon and take a few brief minutes for her to give her the price. I did not hear the part of the consultation, but I did hear, because I was walking back around to get something else, I heard the woman say, oh no, no, take me off your book. Take me off. I am not paying that price. And the girl that owns the salon that I booth rent in, she said, okay, thank you very much for considering us, and turned and walked away. The woman was completely dumbfounded. She thanked her and she turned and walked away. There's no further need for discussion. Because when you open up that line of discussion, then it's almost, to me, the same as if you're saying, well, let's bargain here. And I honestly think that's what that woman expected. She expected a bargaining point. Set your price. If they are not on board with it, that's fine. Don't get mad. Don't get your feelings hurt. Just move on to the next thing. I have set a price, and here's how it's going to be. I made some notes concerning all this. And just keep in mind, charge what you're worth. But understand this, when you charge it, you have said what you are worth, what your time is worth, what your knowledge is worth, what your backbreaking work is worth. When you set that price, you have already stated what you're worth. Make sure it's in line, what you think you're worth. And don't worry about who will or will not pay it. If they don't, that is perfectly okay. There's somebody out there that will. Okay? All right, now, and then there's the personal responsibility. You have a personal responsibility for bringing clarity to the promise part of the conversation and to the process part of the conversation and clarity to the price. You also have a personal responsibility to follow through. If you make a mistake, you follow through, you pick it up, and you suck it up, buttercup. I did it 2 weeks ago, stayed at the salon till 10:30 at night. I sucked it up, buttercup, because I made a bad judgment call. We can blame other people, we can do a lot of things. But you have a personal responsibility to follow through with your promise. Now, there's also a personal responsibility on the part of the client. Many times they do not know it. Oh, okay. I'll just interject that here. I forgot something on the price. They have a personal responsibility. one of the responsibilities they have is I'm appalled when I read stories of clients, quote unquote, going to their car to get your money after the service and they're never seen or heard from again. I am absolutely appalled that anybody would even do that. But that's the reality of today's sad world. There's another hint I have for you. You ask them before you ever start the service, do you currently have your method of payment on your possession? If it's in your car, I need you to go ahead and get it, bring it into the salon. I'm not asking you to pay beforehand. I'm asking you to make sure that you have it in the event there's some kind of problem. Clarify that beforehand. Don't get yourself in a position of being stuck without being paid. It's just something I never could have comprehended, and it's certainly something no one has ever done to me. But I am not foolish enough to think that they will not. So make sure their method of payment is in the building with them and they don't have the opportunity to leave. Now, they also have a personal responsibility that intertwines with your personal responsibility of making sure that they know the at-home maintenance and the upkeep of and maintenance of coming back into the salon to keep their hair looking fabulous. They have a responsibility, and if they do not live up there to their end of the responsibility, it is your responsibility to tell them that, for instance, fashion colors, here's what you need to do, here's the products you need to use, and if you're not willing to do this to maintain it, then I cannot guarantee your service. That also, in reality, should be part of the promise. They need to know that on the front end, but they also need to be told that on the exit. There is a responsibility that we are obligated to, but they are obligated as well. And they will not know that if we do not tell them. I hope this brings clarity. I hope it brings encouragement. I hope it brings ideas for you as stylists behind the chair to up your game, charge your worth, clarify the promise and the process, and make your days easier behind the chair and bring less challenges to what we already have to face in today's world of hairstyling. It's an amazing industry. Proud to be, oh, so proud to be a part of it. But I want all my sisters and brothers in this industry to succeed. And I want to help them, to give them ideas and tools to be able to make their days easier behind the chair. I hope this helps. Have a great day. Look for me on Instagram at Color1Up, COLOR, the number 1 and up. Have a great day.